Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to top 10 wrestlers who had their moves stolen without permission. This should be interesting. Like wrestlers that use. Okay, so I remember back in the day, like around like 2011, 2012. I think Randy Orton was using Kurt Angle moves, and then Kurt Angle took his RKO, and then Randy kind of got into his feelings about that, and Kurt Angle was like, "Well, don't use my moves then, asshole," and they just agreed to never use each other's moves again. So there's that. Yeah, it's a lot of moves that's been stolen from other wrestlers, but I don't really think that's fair to say that, hey, you stole my move. I think that's a way to pay homage. And plus, some of these moves just y'all gotta understand, bro. These are simple moves. Everybody acting like they move is that perfect. Like, you're ruining the aesthetic of my move. And it's like, bro, ain't nobody ruining the aesthetic of your move. Your move is simple. Like the super kick, okay? Sweet chin music, Shawn Michaels, right? I've never heard Shawn Michaels get mad at people who use the super kick, right? Never heard of it. Shawn Michaels never cared because he understands it's a simple move. But it is what it is, though. It is what it is, though. Anyways, though, without further ado, let's get right into it.
1, 2, is this on?
Typically, if a wrestler wants to adopt a famous move into their arsenal, then out of respect, they'll ask one of the original users for permission. This doesn't always seem to happen though, and today we'll have examples of talent who asked for permission, as well as those who didn't, as we list 10 wrestlers who stole moves from others. Before we begin, we'll give honorable mentions to CM Punk using the GTS, and Bryan Danielson using the Busaiku knee. Both moves were taken from Japanese star Kenta. One of Samoa Joe's famous spots of walking away from his opponent's move from the turnbuckle was originally inspired by William Regal.
Up on top, using the rope. Oh boy, Regal one step ahead there. Oh, Kenny King caught nothing but canvas on the way down.
Shawn Michaels' famous sweet chin music was inspired by gentleman Chris Adams' super kick.
Seen it from Chris Adams. He just started doing it in matches, and I thought, well, that's awesome.
Stereo. Wow. And there's a super kick we were telling you about.
Ryback's finisher, the Shell Shock, was originally inspired by another beast in WWE.
Eddie Guerrero has nowhere to go. Eddie Guerrero can only go down to the mat. It's marching. Wow. Shell Shock, man!
And we'll also highlight Michelle McCool using the Styles Clash, something that was even brought up during AJ Styles' feud with McCool's husband, The Undertaker, in 2020.
I think you're mad because she does the Faith Breaker, a.k.a. the Styles Clash, better than you do.
Dig down deep. Where is it? Styles Pro Way.
Courtesy of Michelle McCool.
Booker T's first big program after joining the WWF came against The Rock. During the feud, it was noted how similar their finishes were, which begged the question, who stole from who? The Rock started using his rock bottom over 2 years before Booker T began hitting the bookend. The People's Champ is believed to have inherited this Uranagi-like move from his cousin, Yokozuna.
It's back. Whoa, look at this. Oh my goodness. Good night. Tremendous impact. This is gonna do it.
The rock bottom and bookend vary slightly in how they land.
Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. Bookend.
Big one. Third rock got it.
But it's no surprise that Booker had to change his finish shortly after his rivalry with the Great One ended.
Look out. Rock bottom. Rock bottom. Rock bottom.
Rock bottom hard. That's the bookend.
With Book instead opting to use the scissors kick to close out matches instead, something he previously did as a setup move. The bookend was still used but less frequently as a finisher. Booker would later jokingly suggest that The Rock stole the bookend and multiple catchphrases from the 5-time WCW champion in an interview with Chris Van Vliet.
The Rock stole it just like The Rock stole a bunch of my catchphrases. Yeah. I'm serious. He really did. If you smell what the book is cooking.
Cody Rhodes has a rather unique outlook on how he incorporates different moves into his matches.
I also have like the Mega Man rule. If I wrestled you like 50 times, I'm going to use some of your stuff. out of respect for yourself.
My rule is if I've wrestled you more than 5 times, I can do all your stuff.
I think that's fair because at some point you got to spice up the match. It's like, nigga, we done faked each other 5 times, bro. Let's spice it up a little bit. I think that's fair.
Okay. And it's only my rule, and people hate it.
A few of the moves Cody uses are more obvious tributes, like the bionic elbow his father Dusty did.
And the Dream for the third one. Look at that. Well, the Dream obviously did damage to Ravishing Rick's back. Homage to Pops.
Bionic elbow. Hello, American Dream. Elbow.
Or the uppercut a la Brother Goldust.
Oh, and shades of Goldust. And there's the real thing right there.
The real Goldust.
There to see him win.
Whoa!
The Cody Cutter could be a tribute to Rhodes' mentor DDP.
Diamond Cutter.
When they stand on that one. Oh, yeah. Wait.
No! Cody Cutter!
Not to mention Cody's former Legacy teammate Randy Orton, who Cody got permission from to use the move in WWE after returning in 2022.
Set him off and assist to the RKO! Cody Lundy!
However, the American Nightmare took the setup for his cutter from Will Ospreay's Os Cutter.
Will Ospreay looking for the Os Cutter! Cody though launches himself into a Cody Cutter!
Some of Rhodes' arsenal is more subtle, like the leapfrog out of the corner which was taken from Booker T.
And every time, I mean, there's one thing that's obvious. Hey, how long has it been since?
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Look at this! It's a way of consistently pulling out victories.
A nice power slam.
Or the Alabama Slam used by Hardcore Holly, Cody's first tag team partner, an early rival in WWE.
This is not gonna be good. Could be another. Yes. No.
Sidewalk slam.
I don't think that was a sidewalk slam.
It looked like a sidewalk slam.
Hardcore Holly wasn't the first to use the Alabama Slam though, as Chris Kanyon, who will now highlight, used it before him.
Continues later on tonight. A first dipper for Raw. What a power move by Canyon. Oh no! My God! No! The Alabama slam to the steel ramp.
Kanyon was referred to as the innovator of offense, and for good reason since many of the moves he invented ended up being used by others down the line.
He shows me something different every day.
Canyon has really revolutionized our sport, brought in some moves that no one's even thought of.
When you try to make a move to the right or left, you wind up getting stuck. Look at this!
Oh my goodness.
The fact that he is a machine and you throw in Taz, as lethal as he has been.
Chris was certainly ahead of his time.
We've got the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Hey, look at Montez Ford.
The Flatliner is one of the most copied finishers in wrestling.
He
Look at that.
Getting the flatliner face first into the steel chair.
Tons of wrestlers have tried and failed to use a form of this maneuver as their finish, with some essentially turning it into a self-rock bottom.
Oh.
A few have done good modified variations,
Uh-oh! Wait a minute! End of days!
but who better than Kanyon?
Canyon face first, right on the title belt.
Who better than Canyon?
The buckshot lariat has been popularized by AEW star Hangman Adam Page, but fans might remember Kanyon doing it back during his days as Mortis in WCW.
Danielson's avoided two previous times. Not inside out.
During his United States title open challenges in 2015, John Cena began using a springboard stunner, which raised eyebrows from fans due to how awkward it looked.
And now John Cena building momentum. Second row. What the? Cena, second row. Springboard stunner. Cena didn't get all of it. Cena going for the springboard stunner, and he just barely caught him.
The master of the Stone Cold Stunner, Steve Austin, also didn't approve and would say as much on his podcast.
He could have had a hell of a damn move with that thing, and all of a sudden just let everybody start kicking out of it, so it's like a wasted deal. It ain't working, so now it's just a move that ain't worth a damn.
A few years later,
That is true. That is true. Like, I agree though, like certain moves you can't do. Like, okay, like the super kick, understandable. That's a simple move. But the stunner, that's always been a finisher. That's always finished the match. So the fact that you use it as just like a simple move, like, yeah, that's not, yeah. I can see why somebody like that would be mad. I can understand if it was like a straight up finisher, because then you ruining somebody's legacy. But if it's like a simple move that anybody can do, like the spear or the gore or something like that, and people kick out of it, yeah, I don't think that's simple moves shouldn't be you shouldn't get mad at somebody even if that was your finisher. Like, you can't get mad at people for that because your move is so simple. Anybody can do it.
Steve gave his blessing to Kevin Owens to use the stunner as a finisher.
At the time, I just felt like a lot of people were doing power bombs, and the pop-up power bomb was my finishing move. I'm like, I think I need something different. So I tried to think of something new that nobody was doing.
Because he's like, you want to use it as your finisher? I'm like, yes. It's like, God, it's about time. I can't believe nobody's tried this yet.
On his Broken Skull podcast, Austin even coached Owens on how best to do the stunner.
So that kick isn't just about bending him over a little so that you have easier access to the head.
There's more to it than positioning.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, you're robbing the lungs of oxygen, precious oxygen, which that heart needs to pump to the cranial region, which houses the brain.
Right.
Oh, wait for the super kick, Kevin Owens. Oh, stunner! Oh, no! No! Stunner! Oh, hell yeah! Oh, my God! Stunner! Stunner! Oh, my God! Owens doubling! Stunner!
Bret Hart is considered the king of the sharpshooter, and with good reason, since no one does it better than the excellence of execution. This only becomes more clear when we see all those who have started using the move as a tribute to Bret.
Does Punk have it in him to finish it? And we saw this in Fashion Berlin! Going for a sharpshooter, I believe, here.
Some fans may be quick to include Sting in that list of imitators, but the Stinger actually began using the submission he calls the Scorpion Deathlock before the Hitman.
He's got it on, and he's in the middle of the ring. It's him. It's him.
Flair's getting up, and he's trying to detract the referee, but he did not.
He gave up.
Bret used this as inspiration for the sharpshooter, but had to be taught how to apply the hold by Conan. Hart revealed this during an interview with Inside the Ropes.
I suggested the Scorpion move that Sting did because I'd seen it in Japan. Conan showed me in 2 minutes in the shower how to put a sharpshooter on.
He's got the sharpshooter. He's got the sharpshooter. He's got it. He's got the sharpshooter.
There's no way he get the rope.
And the referee's calling over the...
But I'd like to say that I think the two of them are different. One is the Scorpion and one, in fact, is the sharpshooter. Anyway, I always thought that I kind of came along and took his move in some ways, and fair enough, I probably did. And he was always really good about it.
So, Bret, you copied me, and I know it. So we have the same finishing hold. People will say, and I love your finishing hold. I love it that you use the sharpshooter on people. And I go, I don't do the sharpshooter. I do the Scorpion Deathlock.
They're standing. He's got it. Sit down on it. And he did. He did.
Various wrestlers had previously used the sharpshooter before Sting, including Riki Chosu in Japan. In 2011, Randy Orton started doing the Angle Slam, which forced a response from Kurt Angle online. The Olympic gold medalist posted a number of suspect drunk tweets before later claiming he was hacked. Kurt took aim at Randy for doing the Olympic Slam, not to mention Jack Swagger for performing the ankle lock, with Angle stating that he at least waited until Ken Shamrock stopped wrestling before starting to use the submission.
The guy is taking something that I brought in first and he's using it. Why would I be mad about that?
Did he ask permission to use it?
No, he just used it, but it didn't matter to me.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for allowing me to use that move. I wanted something legitimate, and there's nothing more legitimate than Ken Shamrock and the ankle lock, so thank you.
The ankle lock. The ankle lock. That's it.
While the shots at Orton were perhaps uncalled for, it's hard to argue with Kurt about Jack, since Swagger definitely wasn't good enough to be using the ankle lock. A few weeks after the Twitter outburst, Angle got his own back on Orton in a more appropriate way by hitting the RKO during a match with Jeff Jarrett at Lockdown 2011.
Look at him in the zone. Look at Kurt's eyes. Great shot right there. Oh, wow. How about that?
I once picked on Randy Orton for doing the angle slam, but I didn't understand at the time. And you're right. He called me and said, "Why are you upset?" It's a compliment. I'm using your move. And I'm like, you're right.
It's worth noting that Kurt also took the putting down of the straps and possibly the angle slam itself from Jerry the King Lawler.
Jerry Lawler used to drop the strap, and that meant here comes the finish.
That's where I got it from. I stole from Jerry.
You know what? He stole that move from me, JR. These fans are booing it. Oh, the straps are down.
Going back to the RKO, Orton was originally suggested the move by Johnny Ace, who previously executed the same maneuver known as the Ace Crusher. DDP, who rocked the wrestling world in the 90s with the Diamond Cutter, also gave Randy his full backing to use the move.
Of course, there was a Diamond Cutter.
Yep.
And of course, there was the Ace Crusher. Yep. So Laurinaitis and me, Laurinaitis had my back. And I was trying this move. I believe it was called the Overdrive. And it was hurting my shoulder a little bit, which had already been fixed up. And so Laurinaitis was like, "Hey, man, do the Ace Crusher." So I said, okay, changed it up a little bit. Holy thank you, Johnny, because now I got this thing I can hit anybody with, from anywhere. There's no setup, there's no nothing, boom. and it just happens. We needed a name for this thing. My Randy Keith Orton are my initials, and I came up. I'm like, TKO, RKO, this KO, KO, like RKO. Vince, what do you think? And he just never skipped a beat, kept walking, didn't change his stride. Said, I like it, and that was it. That was it. Next thing you know, it's RKO.
It's a
RKO.
thing. RKO!
Ever since Orton has taken wrestling by storm with the RKO, a few others in WWE have begun using the same form of a cutter in their moveset, but it's not known if they had to ask Randy for permission to do so. Apart from Cody, who we mentioned, one other person we definitely know ran it by the Viper before using the cutter was Austin Theory.
But he asked me, he goes, hey, I want to start doing this move. And it ends up in a similar position, kind of like a cutter. Before I could even think about what the right answer should be, I said, yes. He came to me and he asked me. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Stunner to Theory! RKO!
Next, we have a unique case where a wrestler who inherited a move wasn't aware of its history. We're referring to Muhammad Hassan, who used the camel clutch as his finisher in 2005, since this is the go-to finish for numerous foreign heels. But the origins of the hold date back to the Guerrero family, where Gory Guerrero innovated the submission. Gory's son Eddie had been using the move to honor his father, though it wasn't one of Latino Heat's signature moves. This prompted Hassan to ask Eddie if he could stop using the hold, since it was the main weapon in Muhammad's arsenal that won him matches. This was after Hassan had been given bad advice from Kurt Angle. It's not known if Angle did this maliciously, or perhaps he, like Hassan, wasn't clued up on the history and etiquette. Hassan gave his side of the story on Rene Dupree's Cafe de Rene podcast.
I admit I was in the wrong. I just took some bad advice and was pretty ignorant to my wrestling history. Eddie was fucking so cool about it. Eddie wasn't mad at all. Eddie was basically teaching me, probably taking pity on me.
This was blown out of proportion by the rest of the locker room, which led to Hassan being put in wrestler's court. Shane Helms told kayfabe commentaries that Hassan ran up a $2,000 bar tab for the talent as a way to apologize.
And he went and bought everybody a shot or something like that. He was doing his best to smooth it over. And I remember everybody held it up and poured it on the ground.
Old school was one of The Undertaker's trademarks. You always knew what was coming when the Phenom grabbed the arm while scaling and leaping from the ropes with great agility. This was vintage Taker.
This is vintage Undertaker! 10.5!
Undertaker plucked Old School from relative obscurity upon inheriting it from Don Jardine, aka The Spoiler.
I borrowed that from Don Jardine, who he wrestled under the name of The Spoiler, and when he retired, I knew when I wrestled him very early on in my career, and when he retired, I said, that's mine, I'm taking that.
We've since seen Elias bust out Old School as a tribute to Taker.
Homage to the Undertaker, of course, Elias. Some old school action.
It was like a bad cover version.
A precursor to Old School was Undertaker's original finishing maneuver, the rope walk elbow drop.
Undertaker defeated opponents by tiptoeing along the top rope before hitting a devastating elbow drop.
Down the elbow. Holding on desperately from the top rope. Taking all these stairs. Down the elbow delivered to the sternum.
You might recognize it from modern WWE, where you'll see Xavier Woods executing the limit break elbow.
No way Woods is going to be able to make this. Coast to coast. Running elbow connects. Woods with a limit break elbow.
Rob Van Dam had one of the coolest and most innovative wrestling moves with Van Terminator.
The Van Terminator.
The Van Terminator? What's that all about, Van Dam? I can't wait to see it myself, baby.
Can you feel what's coming? Van Terminator!
It was done to great effect in ECW, though over the years it was less frequent in WWE.
We may be about to see the Terminator!
That's because Shane McMahon already performed the Van Terminator, where it was known as the Coast to Coast.
He's bound and determined. You gotta be kidding me. Look at that!
This was,
which is why I always call it the Coast to Coast, because that was the original name for it. And it's better anyway, because it makes a lot of sense. You're going from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. Coast to coast. You're going east to west, north to south. Coast to coast. It makes way more sense, bro. Way more sense.
Completely plagiarized from RVD, but was given to Shane to try and make up for his lack of wrestling ability.
Coast to coast is a trash can that's put in the ropes so that you don't have to go that extra 3 feet.
McMahon needed as much smoke and mirrors as possible in his matches, so the Coast to Coast was just another gimmick he could implement.
That Paul showed him footage of me doing the Van Terminator,
and ask them, can you do this? A lot of promoters, and in WWE when I was there too, a lot of times they talk about me doing it, and they say, when you get ready to do the coast to coast, which corner are you going to do it from? I'm like, no, I do the Van Terminator.
That's right.
It speaks to Rob's talent that despite being one of his best moves, he didn't need the Van Terminator because everything else he did in the ring was already so great. Ilya Dragunov later used his own variation as a setup move that was hit usually without a weapon.
To see Ilya Dragunov going coast to coast.
Now if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out a similar video of scripted wrestling moments that fans actually thought were real. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Alrighty, man. That's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.